So Facebook have loosened their standards for what they call fake news, because as you guys all know, Facebook is now an arbiter of truth, and they get to decide what's real and what's not real. Anyway, let's take a look at the report from MSNBC, and then we'll discuss.
But there's the standards that they have been trying to implement and figure out basically since 2016 about how to handle bad content. There's been a change in that.
Yeah, so what they did this week, and this was only found out by an investigative reporter named Judd Legum, who does incredible work with this stuff. He noticed that the terms of service changed on what sort of stuff you can put in a political ad. Yeah. And they took out the section that says false and misleading content isn't allowed. That's now de facto kind of allowed. They say if it's been debunked by a third-party fact checker that they trust, it's not allowed anymore. But the stuff that is, you can put stuff up for a while now, and it can remain up even if it's untrue because it hasn't been debunked yet.
So in this right here that we put up for our viewers, what's the major wording that you've been watching? The deceptive claims part? Or?
Yeah. So as you can see, like there's that whole middle section there is just gone now. And that's an important thing, especially in the heat of an election, right? Say days before an election ends. There are hours, there are precious hours where this stuff spreads at the speed of virality, right?
That's right.
And it's hard to stop it with just human moderators and that's the issue that they have. Yeah. They have a task force devoted to this.
They spend a lot of effort and money on this, right?
Exactly.
They change it to this.
Millions of dollars, thousands of people devoted to this.
Why are they calling Uncle? Why are they calling Uncle?
It's a complicated thing, and it's very hard to enforce without really angering some political parties and some people specifically. And that's the issue too, is like they have to sort of they have to make decisions about what they are as a company, and they've sort of refused to do that to try to get the maximum amount of money allowed from these political ads.
This is so stupid. I don't even know how to how to break it down. It's all related to Russiagate, right? The whole basic idea is that a bunch of Russian troll farms swayed the entire American election by posting a bunch of fake articles and memes on Facebook. You're either lying or you think that Americans are so dumb that they would be swayed by a couple of memes and fake news articles. Oh my God, God forbid that some kid in Russia posts an article about Hillary Clinton or whoever the Democratic nominee is this time. I understand, on the one hand, a lot of people get their news from Facebook, and a lot of people don't read the article. They just gloss over the headline and they keep scrolling. And you've planted that seed in their head, or that misinformation. But to try and confuse this with the reason that the Democrats lost the election last time is disingenuous. It's a fabrication, and it is a shifting of the blame. Okay, because what they're trying to insinuate here is that the Democrats lost the election in 2016 because of a bunch of memes, because of some troll farms that had Facebook pages and they posted fake news articles. Not because Hillary Clinton was an absolutely despicable candidate that represented no change. She was there for the corporations. She had an inanimate, terrible campaign. There are some states that she didn't even bother campaigning in, like Wisconsin. She never even set foot in there because she was so arrogant. She thought that people would just automatically vote for her, and they did not. She was very arrogant and just a status quo candidate. But they will never tell you that on MSNBC or CNN. They won't ever tell you that. Why? Because that means that there is something fundamentally wrong with the Democratic Party. And as we said before, these are not leftist or liberal news outlets. These are defense outlets, okay? These are tools of the DNC. They are here to protect the status quo. Okay, so they can never admit blame. They can never tell you, yes, we lost the election because Hillary was terrible, because she represented the status quo, because she was just a continuation of all the horrible crap that led to Trump, that gave us Trump. Okay, they can't tell you that. And so they have to come up with this whole Russiagate thing and then blame it on Facebook pages. It's madness. It's absolute madness. And my biggest point, what I want to get to now is, look, if Facebook is so concerned with fake news, if fake news is such a danger to the public good, please explain to me why you still have Facebook pages for major news outlets who lied about the Iraq war. I would like an explanation for that. Okay? I want to know why the Daily Mirror and the New York Times and the Sun and the Guardian and every single goddamn major news outlet in the world still have a Facebook page, and why they are still allowed to post on your platform when they lied us into a war and they killed hundreds of thousands to 1 million Iraqis. Please explain to me how they are still allowed to have Facebook pages. That's not fake news. I mean, either those journalists were complicit or incompetent. And in both cases, by your definition, by your standards, they shouldn't be posting on Facebook because it's fake news, which actually results in deaths. So if you are so concerned with fake journalism and fake articles, why are you still allowing news outlets who lied about WMDs, who lied about the Iraq war? Why are you still allowing them on your platform? I don't know how many of you remember the news from back then, but there was this constant propaganda machine in full force every single day. CNN and all the television, all the cable networks, they were ramming this down our fucking throats. Oh my God, Saddam has nuclear weapons. And then Tony Blair came out with this lie that he can mount an attack in 45 minutes. And then they just kept ramping it up. Why are these news outlets still allowed on Facebook? You can't justify it, and you know you're wrong. You allow them because they are corporate media and they control everything. You don't actually care about fake news. This is just, you don't care, okay? And to imply that a bunch of troll farms, which we don't even know really existed, in Russia swayed the election is completely absurd. And look, man, don't take my word for it, because Jimmy Dore and Aaron Matei, they have covered this to death, this whole Russiagate nonsense. So don't listen to me. Go and watch what they have presented, okay? Aaron Matei won an award for his journalism on this. Russiagate was an entire hoax. It's a giant cover-up for the Democrats because they don't want to admit their incompetence, okay? They can't believe that they lost to a clown like Trump, okay? And so they had to invent this whole Russiagate hoax because they're in so much denial, and now they're going with Ukraine. It's a whole thing. It's just, again, we're not defending Trump. Trump is a goddamn idiot, but it's this whole process of being in denial. It's like they can't understand that they lost to a game show host because of their incompetence. So they have to make up these fairy tales about Russiagate, and then it's Ukraine, and then it's just this whole thing of this whole self-rationalization of, oh, he's an illegitimate president. We did everything right. No. At the end of the day, you are both equally corrupt and crappy. So go watch what Jimmy Dore and Aaron Matei have done.
Okay, let's move on to a part of this. We're looking at the possible breakup if Elizabeth Warren does get her wishes here. And his response was pretty clear. Good luck.
Yeah, he said, we'll go to the mat trying to defend this, right? Which is, it's fascinating. This is the thing they're going to go to the mat for, right? They're trying to save their company. And look, there is a much larger question about what a breakup would do, right?
Yeah. And what it would look like.
What it would look like if they're going to break up Instagram, if they're going to, a lot of people say just breaking off Instagram from Facebook, that's not enough. Like maybe they need to break up the ad business from the content business at Facebook. Maybe that's what they need to do. So they don't even know what it looks like yet, and they're really trying to fight for it. But this specific thing that's happened this week is a pretty good argument for, why regulation hasn't really affected them yet. Because they keep, putting one step forward and say, we're going to try to fix this misinformation problem we have. And then they took 2 steps back very quietly, and they don't tell anybody about it.
I do understand what Elizabeth Warren is trying to undertake by breaking up Facebook, because it's too big. It really is. All of these tech companies are too big. Okay, they have monopolized their respective fields, and they have made it impossible for dialogue, for competition, and it's an untenable situation. This whole game that Facebook is playing here, trying to act like they're the arbiters of truth and that they strive for greatness and to uphold journalistic standards and maintain complete objectivity, and shut the hell up. Only concerned with money. That is all you care about. Okay? And because the corporate media, they're in control, you serve them. You let them keep playing their games. Look, man, I manage a bunch of pages on Facebook. Okay? I have a lot of huge pages. I post a bunch of memes all the time, and I know how pages have changed and the whole landscape on Facebook has changed in the last few years, okay? They've made it a bit harder for pages, well, a lot harder to be honest. Ridiculous restrictions that do absolutely nothing to alleviate the so-called risks that they speak of. Now you want to tell me a bunch of meme pages swayed an election. How ridiculous. How utterly ridiculous. What a goddamn joke.